Welcome back, everyone. This is Cisco Virtual Kitchen's Influencer Fridays, where each and every Friday we are working with up-and-coming young chefs reviewing great products available from Cisco. With me today, Chef Jesse. Hey, Jesse, how are you?
Morning, Roger. Doing really well. How about yourself?
Hey, thanks for joining us. Fantastic. Hey, before we begin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what inspires you, and where you're going as a chef in this business?
Yeah, fair enough. It's a broad question, but people inspire me and food inspires me. So, on a daily basis, getting to combine the two is amazing. Right now, I'm a part of the Edmonton Chefs Association, and I'm working with other up-and-coming chefs to get their feet in the door and get their schooling finished. But really, really excited for the future of our industry.
Excellent. Fantastic. So you're reviewing some products by Knorr today, and they are called the Ultimate Intense Flavors, and you got 6 different items there. So why don't you start with each one, whichever one you'd like to start with, and tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, absolutely. These were really, really interesting to get my hands on. I've got, like you said, the 6 different flavors here. And basically, from what I understand, they're to eliminate a lot of the time consumption in our kitchens and get some really awesome, intense flavors into our dishes, without having to spend tons of time reducing sauces down and stuff like that. So out of the 6 flavors here, we've got a heat. So it's got serrano, charred poblano, and habanero peppers. Looks really, really yummy for some heat there. We've got a umami with miso. So this is a really great flavor that adds a lot of savory aspects to dishes. This one I'm very excited to use, even though I haven't been able to try them yet. But this is deep, intense smoke. So this is almost like, for those of us who use liquid smoke when we're looking for a barbecue smoky flavor.
Right.
But again, it seems like the ingredients in these are natural and very few. So I'm excited to see how that stacks up. We've got citrus fresh here. So this is yuzu based with mandarin and lime. And we've got earth, so wild mushroom. That's going to add some really nice earthy tones. And then we've got roast umami with roasted onion and roasted garlic there as well.
So these are all real time saving, so you don't have to create your own little sauces and rubs and stuff for a variety of dishes. Tell me, before we get into each product review, when you take the cap off, is it sort of just a dash of this and a dash of that in a saute pan? Like, what's the dispenser like?
Yeah, so it is a squeeze bottle, but it's very, very concentrated and potent.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's just going to be a couple of drops here and there. And what that's going to do is come through and really enhance the dish and add some depths of flavor.
Right on. So we're going for good, great, or wow with each of these. So whichever one you like to start with, tell us your impressions.
All right, so I think I'm going to start with the roast, which is the umami with roasted onions and garlic. I think, just based on the ingredients here, it's an everyday sort of addition to soups or to stews, stuff like that, and it's going to save you a ton of time.
Excellent.
That's good. Yeah, really, really nice. You can tell it's very concentrated, but it's not overpowering by any means. And the ingredients just taste clean and natural, which is really nice. I just noticed on the bottle here, it does say they're gluten-free and vegan too, which I think, knowing the trends that we're headed towards in the industry, I think that's a really, really awesome aspect. All right, so next I'm going to move on to the citrus. So that's, that's mandarin, lime, and yuzu. So yuzu is a really interesting combination of citrus fruits that generally comes from Asia. I love using it in drinks or in sauces or baking as well. So that's wow for me.
Okay, good. We got one good and one wow so far. So it's interesting because you're giving us your impressions of the flavor, and you're saying it's not overpowering, but again, it's going to be absorbed by food and however it's prepared with the food or with the drink. So it's going to be blended with those things. So your tasting is if you're drinking it off a spoon, but I mean, it's going to be slightly different when you have it in a restaurant setting in a dish.
Yeah, and I think, the delicate line with something like this is adding complexity and depths of flavors, but not almost trying too hard. And I think you can tell when you just taste it as is where it's landed. And I'm really excited to use these in my cooking.
Okay, cool. Chef, why don't you step a little bit to your right and stand in front of the product before we get on to the next one?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. There you go. All right. So we got one good and one wow. What's next?
So I just tried the wild mushroom earth. So that's wild and porcini mushrooms. It's good. I do love cooking with mushrooms, and I think it's going to add some nice flavors without necessarily having to add a ton of mushrooms and spend time cutting it up.
Nice. That's what it's all about, simplicity and minimizing prep, especially during the labor shortage now when, staffing is at an absolute minimum and, all that sort of thing. So anything that can help the prep process or make things more efficient with labor, especially in the kitchen, is super appreciated by restaurants right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So next I've got the intense smoke. So this one, again, like I said, I'm really excited to try and marinate some meats and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm totally curious. We do a lot of grilling of meats here, so I'm really interested in that one too.
That's wow. And the biggest reason I say that is I'm a big user of liquid smoke. I think a lot of us are kind of familiar with that. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have any sort of like harsh flavors. I think, a lot of times when we get out the liquid smoke for our barbecue, almost have to have a hazmat suit on, but this just tastes natural, which I really, really like. Now, the one thing I did forget to mention, which I found really positive, is these are actually shelf stable once they're open, apparently. So not going to take up space in your cooler.
Great. So they don't require refrigeration.
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Do you have an idea of how long the shelf stability is, or the lifespan of the product itself?
Yeah, I think it's about a year.
Okay, that's great.
They've all got their dates on them, but it seems to be about a year.
Yeah, that gives you plenty of time. Obviously, the size of the packaging and everything makes it easy to use, and you're going to go through it a lot quicker than that. But I was just curious. Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just had the miso umami.
Okay.
And that was great. I think it would be a really nice addition to maybe some sauces for sushi, or maybe adding it to a broth or something like that.
So you'd say you might even replace soy sauce in sushi with that?
I think you could, definitely. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily, let's say, dip it directly in. As I mentioned, these are concentrated.
Yeah.
But definitely using it to create a bit of a base for a sauce, and maybe add some citrus or something to it as well, I think would be really, really nice, actually.
Good.
And I saved our charred chili heat for last, obviously, to give my palate a little bit of a break. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's good. I think what I like about that one is it adds depths of flavor, but doesn't overpower, and it's not just the flavor of one pepper that I'm getting. I'm getting a couple different kinds. So again, it's not just in-your-face heat. It's got some really nice complexity to it.
Can you hold that one up again?
Yeah,
camera. I'd be curious to see that. Okay, very good. Excellent. Charred chili heat.
Yeah.
And we got a good. So let's see. It looks like we got 2 goods and 3 wows and 1 great. So that's a pretty positive record for the Knorr Ultimate Intense Flavors.
Yeah, very, very true.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Chef Jesse, for joining us and taking us through that product review. That's our show, folks. Don't forget, next Friday, Influencer Fridays, we'll have a whole new bunch of products to check it out.